The next up is dashboards. You will generally see the dashboard tab here. If you don't see it, then again, you can go here and search for dashboards. So if there is a tab available in any of the object and you don't see that tab coming up here, and that tab, you are a system admin and that tab should be visible to you, then you can search for it here and you should be able to go to that tab. So let's create a dashboard first. So we'll click on new dashboard here when we go to the dashboards tab, and we call it training dashboard. I'm keeping it default for the folders. We'll talk about folders in some time once we complete dashboards. Basically add on components to this dashboard. You can have up to 20 components on a dashboard. Let's click here and select our first one, which is, let's say, the tabular one, which we have actually modified, but let's try and bring that up. So here you see all the chart options which we saw in the report. There are few add-ons here. These are very similar. This is a new one, which basically gives you just the number. So this is the total number would come up from your report. Then you can also have a speedometer. You can set up a speedometer and change the values here. So let's say this is 504 million here. Let's say we want to call it 330 million here. Then let's say we want to call it, so 0 to 330 should be red, 330 to 600 should be amber, and then okay, so still a lot more. We need to add a couple of more zeros, I believe. So now you see, so this way you can add a speedometer to your dashboard as well. Let's add it. I can add show percentages as well, but let's keep it that way and show range. So this is showing me the range as well. Let's leave it. So basically the range where your speedometer is currently pointing to. What you can also do is you can change the title. Let's say call it speedometer. I can add a subtitle. This is speedometer. You can add a subtitle. You can also add a footer. This is footer. You can do that. All of these things can be done in all the dashboard components. So title, subtitle, and footer. You can add a custom link as well. So this can take you to the actual report or somewhere else if you want to take the person there. Then you can also select the run this chart on, basically the speedometer on. So this is how it is showing. This is a new thing which has come up. So you can say dynamic mode allows you to compare a report metric with a numeric field from the record. So let's say I want to click this, and then let's call account and just one annual revenue. So now it is showing us. Let's add this for the time being. So this is also showing us the percentage value here now. So what we can do is we can call it like 30 to 60. I think this is the right segregation here. We can show the range here and then we can change the name. So we call it speedometer. I'm just putting the same fields now because I've shown it to you earlier. We cannot edit footer in the dynamic mode. That's different. You can have two types of themes. One is dark mode, one is light mode. I'm keeping light mode for this is your first component which is added. What you can do is you can change the size, make it smaller, make it bigger. Just make sure that whatever size we are selecting, it is easily readable. All the values which you want to show in this particular component are correctly. When we did it like this wasn't very much readable, and the title is also missing. So let's make it more readable. You can also drag and drop, so you can move it somewhere else as well. So once we add more components, it would make much more sense to you. Add one more report. Let's add our summary report. Again, this time what we want to do is we want to show this. It has pulled up from board chart. Here we can add one more measure in the y-axis as well. You can plot it on second axis or you can plot it as is. So let's plot it on second axis so it would look nicer. Y-axis ranges you can also set, but let's keep it automatic. You can sort by type or you can sort by record count and sort ascending, descending. So let's keep it ascending and then sort by account owner. You can still add a custom link, max groups which can be displayed. And again, you can have the summary title. Let's keep this thing at the bottom. So now you have another component added to your dashboard. Let's bring it here and make it a little bigger. As a thumb rule, always try to keep your components in sync with each other. So don't do that. You have created a component here which is like of 5 sections and then you are putting another column with that. Unless you have 2 such columns which are smaller, make sure it is visually pleasing to see as well. Don't just put everything there and it looks very crappy. Just make sure it looks delightful, it looks decent to look at. So like in this case, when we made it bigger, so we could read it easily and we could see what exactly is happening. If I make it smaller, these things go out of place, and I make it even smaller, then chart has actually gone away. So that's how you just play around and see with the UI how doing things, and whichever is more readable to your eyes. Always make sure these things are aligned to each other and don't make it very messy. Now let's try and add another component, call it the matrix report. Add a funnel. I'm just adding it straight away for the purposes of this video. This is one, then you can add one more. So you can use same report multiple times as well. So I'll show you like using a tabular report again. And I just want to show the table this time. So basically now you can select how many columns you want to add, and you can change the sequence of those columns as well here. And you can sort on which column you want to sort it as well. You can do that. And then again, everything is available. There's few more things available. So you can show chatter pictures, you can show total, and you can also do conditional highlighting, which is not done here at the moment, but you can do it. So probably if you add annual revenue, probably then we can add conditional highlighting as well. And then you can still, in the same way you did in speedometer, we can change the values here. That's done. And you can also do a grouping. So let's say I want to group it on account owner, and then in the measure column, then I would just see the record. I can do these things, sum, average, minimum, maximum. I don't want to do that, but I want to keep it like this, like a tabular view. And let's do a save. So again, this has come up here, and I can bring it up here. Now I can make it a little bigger, and I can make it bigger as like this as well. Generally, you don't put tabular here, but if you want to, you can. I'm just trying to show you a component. Now that we have these 4 components in our dashboard, let's save it and done. So that's our dashboard. There are few things you can refresh every time you read a dashboard, or refresh it, because dashboards are not refreshed automatically. I mean, all of the dashboards are not refreshed automatically. Whenever you read a dashboard, click refresh so that you see the most recent data in your charts. That's one thing. Then you can download the dashboard as well. So when you click on download, dashboard will be downloaded as a PNG. So whatever you were seeing on the screen, it is downloaded a PNG for you. You can also create a new dashboard. You can delete this dashboard, and you can subscribe to a dashboard. Subscription is very similar to the report subscription. Again, you can have up to 5 subscriptions. There's this checkbox, receive new results by email when the dashboard is refreshed. So whenever somebody refreshes the dashboard, you can subscribe to it. You get an email. What you can do is here in the settings, so when you go in edit and click on this gear icon and change the name, you can run the dashboard as somebody. Run the sharing settings in the background and define the data that is pulled up in the report. You can run as yourself, which is the system administrator. You can run it as a specific person, or you can run it as a viewer. So this is called dynamic dashboard. So whosoever is viewing the dashboard will run as person who is viewing it. Basically, it's the current user at that point in time. And you can also let dashboard viewers choose whom they view the dashboard as. So if you check this, then they can select whom to view this. So this is a risky option. Don't do that, because that way they might be able to access certain data which they might not have access to. So it's preferable to run as a specific person or just run as the current user. You can design the themes here. So you have more themes available here. You can do the light and dark, and then based on that, palette theme also changes. So let's say we keep it something like this, and you can also change the grid size. You can do a 12 column or a 9 column grid size. So these are a couple of things which are available here. The theme has changed here. I'll have to change the folder here. I'm just giving a folder name here. We'll talk about folders in a moment. I'm clicking it saved and save. The dashboard is saved now. Subscribe dashboard would get refreshed at the time when you are subscribing it. So you would get, before sending out the email to you, system will try and refresh the dashboard for you automatically. Whenever somebody refreshes the dashboard, you would also get an email for yourself, and to the recipients you are adding it here. Make sure you are not adding yourself to all the dashboards, because you can just have 5 descriptions here, so just make sure. If your dashboard is not a subscribed dashboard, then every time you go, you have to click refresh here. One thing the dashboard tells you here very nicely is that as of, so whenever it was last refreshed, it would give you that date and time here, and who you are viewing this dashboard as, it also shows you here. So these are a few things which you can do in the dashboards. I would recommend try creating couple of reports, all type of reports, and try to add as many components you can to a dashboard. Align them nicely. Like in this one, this is mal aligned. This is, so either, technically I should have a component here, or I should make this bigger so it looks symmetric. So always try to keep symmetry in place because it's pleasing to the eyes. As humans, we like things which are more symmetric rather than things which are more haphazard, which is like this. Then one more thing which is very interesting on the dashboard, which you can tell your users, is that you can expand a particular component. You can see the whole component here. Then you have options of scrolling through the other components. At each component, you have an option to view the associated report. So let's say if I click here, it will take me to that particular report, and I can see the report in detail of this particular chart. Then within each component, I have this option to download. So this would download the PNG for me of this particular speedometer. In my presentations or anywhere, I can use it. So that's how your PNG comes up. That's from the user point of view. That's about dashboards. If you have any questions, you can join the QA session, which happens every Friday, and please drop in your comments, feedback, and any questions in the comment section, and I'll get back to you.